Can we win a Yu-Gi-Oh! Locals with a deck that costs only $20? As a competitive Yu-Gi-Oh! Player and content creator, I often have access to the entire card pool and will play every sort of deck that exists. But I know that for a lot of players, it's not financially responsible to invest in the newest and most expensive deck. So that's why I do this series, Dueling on a Discount. So the premise for this series is pretty simple. Every few months, I will show you guys a deck that is relatively cheap, aiming for at least $50 or lower, plus your core set of staples you already have accrued, and that's excluding the expensive ones like SP or Molcharmy Furos at this current time. And then after giving you that deck profile, I will take it to locals myself. Show that the deck I'm giving you guys, while it may not be tier 1 or the best deck in the room, can keep up and win locals, as well as get an invite to the WCQ. So today, I'll be showing off the deck I featured a couple weeks ago, and that is Exosisters. I already gave you guys the deck list and the breakdown for how to make it work. Today, I'll be going to the actual local tournament, and then trying to do as well as I can with the strategy. Hopefully you guys see that it's possible to play on a budget, and you'll have another cool deck that you can bring to locals that'll do well. Before I head to locals, guys, I have a couple of questions for you. On the topic of budget decks, I was curious, what was your favorite economic and budget deck of all time? I know a lot of people might say Salmon Greats, but for me, that was not really one of them. The deck that I really liked, even if I didn't play it that much because I preferred Burning Abyss, was actually the Monarch Structure deck. I felt that deck was great for new players. It was incredibly intricate and complex, so it got players to learn, as well as it was very cheap, at least in the Domain Monarch form. That being said, I'm curious to see what budget decks are your favorites, either in modern formats or from the past, as well as what type of budget decks you want to see in the future. So make sure you let me know, and as always, if you enjoyed the content, like and subscribe. Anyways, let's head to locals. All right, so round 1 at locals, and today we do have a bit bigger of a tournament than our last locals vlog. We have about 20 players, which means 4 rounds of Swiss. We'll get a nice 4 rounds of action here for the Exosister strategy. But that is not daunting for me at all, and I am confident we can win. Now, again, before we start, I want to remind everyone that at a local scene, it is a lot more casual, and you're there to have fun with your friends, as well as many players are learning for the first time either how to play or their own deck. I'm sure many viewers can relate to that. So if you see anybody making a mistake, myself included, feel free to comment on the mistake, but do so in a constructive manner. The players can learn, and you can give actual reasoning behind choices than just say, oh, this person sucks or misplayed. But anyways, let's get into it. All right, so I lose the roll, and immediately I see him up against Ritual Beast. Now, this is interesting because if you watched my last video, you'll see I played in my 3 rounds of Swiss 3 bird decks, 2 Ritual Beasts and Fluanderies. And this is not the same person I played last week, so yeah, I guess this is just the Ritual Beast locals, the shifter everywhere, and I should not bring any graveyard decks back. But today I am playing a shifter deck myself, so if I get shifted, I'm literally do not care. In fact, I play it in my own deck. It's a pivotal win condition for this deck to win versus the other meta threats. Now, when the Elder and Rampengu come down, I do have a hand of a bunch of hand traps. I'm thinking what the best way to stop this is. Ritual Beast is very good in its effect negation here, so I really just don't have a good plan. I'm not worried about Protoss. Normally I'd hold stuff for the Protoss and then imperm that, but I'm a light deck, and if they're going to Protoss Dark or Fire, it's nothing to me. So I'm kind of just chilling. I'm going to stop them early. In fact, I'd rather let them not get their grind game, because it's not likely that I can kill them if they set up steeds, even at that much. So then keeping them off follow up is going to be important. He summons Canahawk out in the attempt to search going, summons flag. And this gets Corridor instead of Protoss, so this would get access to Colossus. They summon it out here, but summoning here does mean that they can't summon any of their effects with Canahawk to search or to special summon. And given that I had another imperm, or 2 imperms in hand as well, I really didn't mind about this Colossus too much. The reason why I was aggressive with hand trapping the Rampengu is I had multiple imperms in hand, and I wanted to shut them off quickly. This obviously worked out well for me because no search cards. Pax gets to play. I get Ash Boss in there. I'd call by for it. I felt incredibly safe for this point, and it shows. Obviously, it's nice when you get to use Call by and Martha in conjunction with each other to rank up for free, but or for one less body. But I mean, I beggars can't be choosers. Even if I can't kill him this turn because I have to clean up these bodies, I am going to be in an incredible position. You know, Exosister's setup after field is impressive. Magnifica and Returnia are incredible cards, especially when your opponent doesn't have follow-up setup and they only have a couple cards in hand. So that's going to be the case here. I'm going to go through the motions. I'm seeing if there's any way to maximize cards I can do. If I have a way to trigger my Martha's ability, or if I have a way to get Sophia to draw a card, or if there's a way for me to kill, because, you know, the Gibrine boost by 800 is significant. I decide that, yeah, get Sophia, try to get the draw, try and draw on some more hand traps is probably where I want to be. Obviously, you can draw into cards like Dark Ruler that will be pretty ineffective, but fine. Drawing into Engine is not going to be the end of the world. And then I get to go Michaelis, and then search Returnia. The banish on Michaelis here will just clean up one of the monsters, that way Magnifica can attack over the other two. I'm not going to use Magnifica's effective banish because I want to use it on the opponent's turn. You don't have to attach both Material Schmidt because then you can't use the rank up ability, which can matter. So I banish the Ulti Canahawk to keep it out of the grave. I'm not sure if that matters. I'm not really sure if Notre Drago can fuse using the Ulti Canahawk. I guess I could search that up, but no idea. I'm assuming it could, which is why I banished it instead of leaving it in the grave. That could be entirely wrong. Anyways, I set 2 pass, and I feel pretty good. He sets a monster in pass, and I get to go banish. And did I have Vaudeo here to kind of guarantee lethal, or did I have to just attack twice and chill? And just concedes. Okay, so I think I might have had Vaudeo there, otherwise it wasn't game. Those situations, it can be better to cast Patel for follow-up instead if you have the extra monster. I can't exactly recall, because you would like to obviously kill your opponent when you can. When you have to get into a long game, it can get dicey, even if you are favored. You never want to take chances. Anyway, siding for Ritual Beast, not too hard for this deck. I mean, you're not going to have all the dead cards you are, like, at a weak to Protoss. They can Protoss Light by popping your Nochi Drago, but it is a lot more costly for them. I'd say they're way more inclined to go for a Colossus. And in that case, my breakers still should be somewhat effective. So I'm feeling pretty good in that regards. And then I just throw some Cosmics and stuff in as well, because I figure I can hit like Steeds. And I think Steeds might be a bit of a problem point. If I'm able to hand trap them to go stop the full combo, they have Canahawk Steeds, then that can end up being an issue. Opponent starts off game number 2 with emergency teleports. No Moltron Furas yet, so I am just sitting back and watching. Not that I'd be including it in the budget deck. Which, by the way, guys, I'm really saddened. I don't know how I'm supposed to do a budget deck for you guys once Furas comes out, because it would feel like crazy. That's a card you want to have in everything, even more than SP. And maybe I'm overstating the effects of the format, or the effects of the effects that card will have on the format, but yeah, not looking great. W Telly is a okay start for my opponent. But one thing with Ritual Beast people forget is using E-Telly, as good as it is, does kind of lock you out in some ways. Remember that Ritual Beast can only summon one of each name per turn, so by doing this, they cannot summon them back from the tag out. Now, my opponent makes Ulchi Nochi Drago here instead of Canahawk. This is a mistake, and I did tell my opponent after the match, Nochi Drago, you typically would only try and summon using your graveyard, because that's otherwise free. And if you do it this way, then it's just not going to be free, right? So think of like how you'd plan out your combo. You'd obviously want the free cards later than it here, and obviously it just progresses your game state less than Ulti Canahawk would either. So this not great. And also now they can't even tag out for everything here, so I think they're kind of realizing here. He did tell me he thought it tagged out for 2, which I guess makes a little more sense, but still not great. Yes, I have to tell him here that it just can't. It's only Winda that's a legal target. So gets out Winda and decides to link away 2 for Canahawk. Returns the 2 to the grave. At this point, they have summoned pretty much everything, so they can't tag out anymore, and they're able to get either follow-up, Steeds. One of the only ways they could kind of extend past this is with Inheritance and searching Lara to get an extra summon. They get Steeds, so they'll have the pop. So while this play obviously could have been expanded upon more, this is Steeds plus follow-up, and they already had Flag in hand, so the Flag will now develop into Colossus, which is good versus Exosister, right? I will need an answer to it, or Michaelis does answer it if you can get to it, but easier said than done. You have to hard draw Martha or multiple pieces that can go into it. All through his Steeds makes it kind of hard. Anyways, here my opponents, E-Telly's out thinking that they can summon the Lara, but again, you cannot. I think what they wanted to go for was Protoss Light, which would have been obviously insane. And then they realized they can't, so now they're kind of regretting switching the Protoss. It doesn't do really as much as what they expected. But instead they go IP and pass. And now, while that obviously would have hurt the Protoss lock, I was prepared for the Colossus. I had Duster and the Dark Lunamore, which kind of just immediately put an end to anything that my opponent was planning. I Martha special summon out both my cards, and I see this resolve not getting Ash. I know the game should just be over. Even if there's like Ash Blossom coming down later, I can clean up the field incredibly easily. Follow-up should be a thing of like non-existence. The only sort of follow-up this deck can really get from this point will be Nochi Drago, which is big. But if I summon Exosister monsters before they do that, then they'll have the ability to rank up when Nochi Drago is summoned. So I overlay with the not Martha here because I want to do one of the cool combos this deck that you can do going second. Or anytime your opponent puts a card in the grave, and that is, I don't really have to start Cast Patel here. I don't need the extra extender because I can go the Kalos Banshee card in the grave instead of the field, which especially under Dark Ruler, I don't care to Banshee card on the field. That triggers the rank up ability of Martha, and then I just don't need to use extra body. Opponent ashes on Caspital here, which not the best spot. I think maybe they thought that he would have needed the extra extender to go. Obviously, I didn't, so I come out on top there. Get to make Minifica, clean up both monsters, and it's looking pretty good. I set 3 cards face down and call it a turn. So Noche Drago is there as an option, so is the Protoss, which I were partially expecting. Not letting him call lights is one of the most important things, so I'm just going to quickly banish that off the field. Not going to be a threat. And then normal Kanahawk, again, I have Returnia. I can deal with stuff pretty easily. Now with the Noche Drago, I'm going to be a little careful. If they'd summoned it first here, it wouldn't have been too big of a deal because I could just tag out Michaelis, then banish it, force it out. The special Lara here, or banish Lara special from the deck, thinking what's the best way to deal with this. Now that I've overlaid into Michaelis, my Returnia does get double banished as well, so I essentially have 3 banishes here, which is really powerful. Then I use Vaudeo to summon 2 from the deck. What this let me do is just rank up into other Exosisters as well as follow up if they use Noche Drago here. And with the Noche Drago rank up, I'll be able to go into negate. I think it's Gibrine Exosister, which will threaten to negate the Noche Drago, turning off the ability to tag and the non-target effect. So if they change special summon, then I'll just hit the 2 cards with Returnia. So I get to rank up both now. I'm deciding which ones are the best. I'm for sure going Gibrine. The other one, though, is kind of up for debate. And I think I just summon Caspital because it's follow-up. And then I'm going to use the effects to negate Noche Drago. To tag out, then I'll Spanish both on summon. If they don't, then I'll just banish both. Now, the tag out, I get to bring back. Doesn't matter because I have overlaid this turn. I get to banish 2 off Returnia. They're mulling this decision over, but I know that there's not a chance. These are with no cards left, and game is set and match. So, Exosisters are victorious. Round number 1. All right, so round number 2, we're going to be playing against Snake Eye Fire King Fiendsmith. And I do win the roll this time, opening Shifter and Martha, which is pretty nice. Obviously, this is like the dream open versus a meta deck like this. Now I get to go through my combo. Obviously being scared of Nibiru and hand traps. Now, Nibiru is definitely just the biggest threat for this deck. There's not like a good way of stopping it. It's really funny. The Marincess deck was similar where the counterplay to Nibiru is pretty minimal. You can make lesser fields, but you pretty much need the disruption. I get impermed here on Caspital, and it may look dire, but I do have a prosperity, so I'm just shuffling my deck that way, can look for what I need. There are any extenders that get me through this, like Pax, Ellis, Sakitama, Aratama. And I'm not feeling too concerned. And even at non-engine should be fine. So I reveal 6 here, and I have lots to go through. I think I may have already had an Ellis as well, so even just like something like Sophia can help. Sophia, though, doesn't actually do anything because I can't draw under Prosperity, which is important. So I get Sakitama, and I already had Ellis. So any level 4 would have just worked for me at this point. But here the Imperm proved to be pretty ineffective because I'm still going to end on the essential full combo while under Shifter. I get Vaudeo here because that'll follow up in my hand. I do want to make sure that A, I can kill him next turn, but B, that if I get like Talanced or Darkhold or Regeki or whatever nonsense, I'm not going to just be killed. He starts off with Wanted, and under Shifter, I've played this deck. I know this does literally nothing, so I'm going to pay 0 mind to this and kind of just enjoy the free information that was given to me. It's like an almost ineffective bait. Like you need to just be careful because obviously if you fall for any sort of bait like this, it's rough. The Unicorn could be a problem. I'm not sure on Unicorn because it's not Fenrir. It's not going to threaten me as much, but this deck can get weakened to a grind game. And Unicorn 1 presents a grind game and then also a Banished Michaelis is the next deck, which can be a problem. Activates Island, which does nothing. So I'm just going to rank up into Michaelis. Now, Island's actually more of a liability for them because with this Michaelis, I can banish the island and then that'll blow up their entire field. So they add Ponix here. If I do play Skyburn, then I will have to be a little careful of that adding Skyburn and blowing up my field. So when Ponix is normal summoned, I have the consideration to banish the Ponix here. But I'm not too concerned. If you change the pop, then I still have the Vaudeo and I can play next turn. I banish the island in the end phase though, just get it out of play for good. The Shifter will be ineffective anymore. And the island's gone, the Ponix is gone. I feel just fine. So I get to search now off of the Michaelis for Pax. And that's going to be my follow-up. And I have the choice now. Do I feel like I can win this game with just what I have here? Or do I need to extend for game? I decide that I can play under the 5 summons in Nibiru and set up a board that my opponent will not kill, even if I cannot kill them this turn. Play around Nibiru should be fine. I know pretty much every card they have, even if they have every extender possible, which is like the Bonfire, Engraver, Witch, which if I already know I know they already have the Witch. then I'll be okay. So instead I just go cast Patel for follow-up, and then make Magnifica. And because I already have the packs, I can search for the Returnia, and I'm gonna have access to every single sort of interruption I'll have. Magnifica with packs and Vaudeo. Obviously, with the Vaudeo face down, I could have just gone for lethal. And in phase 2, I do use the packs to search from deck to hand. The Returnia, I have every sort of interruption now, and I just chill. Yeah, so that packs there could have got a kill card for them. Like, obviously, they were pretty low life points. I hadn't committed much. I start with one hit here, and so it's a second Witch, which is fine. It doesn't mean that now they have original. We have to give them the draw if we hit it, which wouldn't have before. Banish Witch, keep him off a monster in field, because usually that's better to do than the wanted itself. Don't want to give them the draw. Then discards Engraver. Engraver is not great into this deck because many cards you trigger their bonus abilities when Engraver goes through. Tract is activated. I can banish the Lurry, so it doesn't do anything. Banish the Lurry. All right, so they go Bonfire for Poplar, add Snake Eye Temple, and I chill here because, again, like, I'm going to wait until they commit something actually meaningful before I go to Banish 2. Often people just forget they can Banish 2 when you ranked up this turn, and I have. They activate the Temple, though, and I know that if I banish both here, that they can't use the original, so they just lose. And here my opponent has to read it, check that I banished 2 cards because I overlaid this turn. It does. So they will just lose both of their monsters, both of their face-up cards. No longer be able to activate original simple spoils. We win. So game 2, our opponent actually lets us start, something I was not expecting, nor did I side for. And then they hit us with the draw face Molcharmy. Now, Molcharmy is not the most insane card versus deck, but it's good. Definitely worth siding in. And I pass and then shift for them. Now, truthfully, I couldn't play anyways. I did Brick. So it did not matter if they charmed me, and I'm almost happy they did. It's almost ironic how often that seems to happen with Charmy. But if you give up a card, make your opponent Brick, you'll usually take it. Opponent starts with Race Off, and in a grind game, the cash cards are just brutal, especially on a Shifter as well, so I'm rid of it. So I ash this planet to make sure it doesn't happen. Duster hits my Call by the Grave, and they summon the Unicorn. I probably should have Called by the Grave in response to hit the Molcharmy. That way they couldn't do it again on my turn, although I guess I'm sure they couldn't anyways. I don't know. I mean, I probably should have done it. But yeah, they already had the Cashier cards because they had Fenrir and Unicorn already, and I'm just gonna get brutalized here. Now, obviously, this isn't game. Still, it's Snake Eyes, so it's not gonna be like some crazy Arise Heart level stuff that's in Master Duel, but they can rip apart my extra deck, which will hurt. Now, he hits the Zeus here, which makes sense to a degree, but if you ever play this deck, Michaelis is really just like the best card. I know there's 3 in the deck, but there are games you go through multiple, so start chipping away at that does make a difference. I bell the burst to keep him off of Unicorn or Fenrir. Unicorn honestly hurts a lot. Draw, no engine still. Let's go next. Game 3, I start off with Martha, and obviously that is fantastic. Do I ever get away with not committing into Nibiru? I think about it, I'm like, nah, like there's no way. For Snake Eye, that deck's engine is pretty powerful, so if they draw a heavy engine hand, I will just lose. And we see there's Cashier cards, Fiend's cards, Snake Eye cards, and Fire King cards. So there is an extreme ability to push with to push my field. So I shouldn't really underestimate stuff here. Now, with all that engine, though, it is weak to the Exosister's effects. Effect special here, and I get impermed. They're gonna try to keep me off of extending, but okay, I have packs. This deck does have plenty of extenders, so hand traps, you know, like while they can for sure be game breaking sometimes, it is a deck that can feel almost like Snake Eye in a way where not like fantastic spots to hit you. Obviously, like Ash on Martha is one of the best cards at stopping you, but outside of Aratama, there's not like a good like choke point. Hitting Michaelis does usually prevent like Returnia, which can maybe be some of the best way to stop them, but you're gonna always be staring down Magnifica if you do that. And Magnifica is still a fantastic card, so I guess judge what you see on your hand. Now I add another Stella here, special summon with packs. Could have been an Alice, but I'd choose it. I'd rather keep the Alice in deck. I get to Michaelis, search my trap. I get Vaudeo here again because I want some follow up. I'm not sure if I already had Returnia, truthfully. And then I get to go into Magnifica, and I'm feeling kind of chill. And this is obviously fantastic. Magnifica, still, even against Snake Eye, very good card. Even if Snake Eye is broken, Magnifica is in its own right insane. Yeah, so I just have Vaudeo. I think part of the reason is between the Snake Eye cards, the Fire King cards, and the Fiends with the cards, they all play into Vaudeo pretty well, where if they go like Lurry effect, like chain special summon, pretty good. Leading with Engraver here, something I'm fine with, because as I said, I have a pretty good grasp on how to stop this. They attracts, then they hit the tank for a bit. And they go Metal Tronus on my Magnifica. And this hurts. Not something I'd experienced yet with this deck, because when I'd given this deck a little more time in the TCG or in Master Duel, it was before this card was legal. In fact, it's still not legal in Master Duel. So I'm kind of like realizing like, shit, like what do I do here against this? Because specifically against Fiendsmith as well, it's kind of ironic. This gets Desiree and then turns into Requiem. And now because they have a Light Fiend in the grave, they will get the ability to send a card on the field to the grave as well. So I'm a little like anxious here, but obviously we'll do what we must. They target to pop the back row, forces Vaudeo. I don't care that much. I could have triggered Vaudeo beforehand in hopes of them catching them on the Desiree trigger, but if they weren't going to use the Desiree trigger, then the Vaudeo doesn't do much. So yeah, I'm fine doing this. At this point, they can go like Engraver with Requiem and then go Battle Phase and kill one of them, but that's why summoning two of them is good here. They'll feel fine. And the one I want to summon is the one that won't let them revive from the graveyard, because that way they can't use their Fire King stuff like Kirin, they can't use Arvata, they can't use the Runics, they can't use Lurie, they can't use Engraver. It's pretty powerful. So here he equips the Requiem. I don't think he realizes that my guys can rank up even if they're not special summoned. All you have to do is move it. It's a double rank up now and really lock them out of the game. Making Michaelis here is a little awkward because while it's banished and follow up, it also means only one left in the deck, so it is a little fragile. But this is pretty good because now I can banish the Engraver, and they're going to be somewhat Graver locked the rest of the turn. As well as now they only have 3 cards left in hand, right? They've used Imperm. No, they should have 4. They have the Tract, but the Tract does nothing. They have 3 cards in Tract, and my board is still looking pretty good, so I feel okay. The banish is gone, but it's all right. So they use Tract here, and I'm not overly concerned. They grab Lurie, and they have to discard a card here. Not really too much. And I think they have to do this because they really need normal summon, and that is pretty brutal. And this does force them to then go summon Kirin by popping Oak, normal summon the Lurie, and then they can kind of make a bit of a play. Goes into Anima, and again, you can see I've put my zones not losing the Anima, which is nice. Attack over the Asophiel, and then SP will deal with Magnifica. So I still have Michaelis for follow-up, which is pretty good. Oh, no, they banished Michaelis. Leave me with Magnifica. So, I mean, it's still pretty good. I figure, like, even if I can't kill him, Michaelis coming back next turn is a problem. May have negated it, but it's fine. So, I didn't realize, actually, at this point, the Metal Tronus was permanent. So, I attack, and I attempt to attack again, and then I learn that, okay, I cannot do that. It's still negated. That's when I realized, okay, I'll just go Zeus main phase 2, so I still maintain Disruption. This does mean I'm somewhat cut off. My Exosister engine is going to be a little awkward here. So, I draw, and then main phase 2, I get to just go for my Zeus. I pass over to my opponent, who only has a single card left in hand now. To my Zeus, as well as an Engraver. Engrave, and the Engrave doesn't worry me too much because while Sophia's on field, if they can't kill it with the card that you've returned, then they can rank up. So on the rank up here, I will go into Michaelis, and then Michaelis can easily just banish the Engraver when I need to, but obviously I can just wait as well for when any equips happen. The Engraver itself isn't going to really threaten me too much. At this point, I have a banish and a field nuke to the 1 card plus Engraver, and I'm not concerned. And if the Michaelis lives, then it's also follow up, which should just be nail in the coffin. Alright, so at this point they do equip the Requiem, and I'm just going to banish the Engraver once more, throwing the second one into the banish pile. I just don't want them sending off the Zeus or the Michaelis here. I will obviously have to do something, otherwise I lose my response. They hit me with the powerful card they drew return, Metal Tronus. We're really seeing this card can be pretty effective versus deck. They target the Zeus, and it gets them access to a Nibiru, and that'll kill the Michaelis. Now my Nibiru is negated. I also can't attack over this, and my third Michaelis is now gone, which means I've lost access to search my deck, lost access to my primary banishes, and it's a little spooky now. At this point, I realize if I enter a grind game, I'm actually screwed. I no longer have a constant wave of applying pressure, and I just can't kill this Nibiru. I actually just can't without crashing my monster into his. So I Sakitama, tribute for Shifter, and Sakitama has the ability that if a spirit is tributed, or I think if it's tributed, add itself back to hand, or add a spirit back to hand. So I add it back itself, and just gives me a little bit more damage. At this point, I'm thinking, what do I have? And for a second, I'm like, I'll go SP, and like that's a little bit better than nothing. Oh wait, budget deck, no SP. Attack for a shift to 1200 and pass over. One draws Fenrir for turn, which is kind of insane. Thankfully, they use the effect here on Fenrir, and I just go Ogre Chain Veiler. I'll pop it and negate the effect, making sure that I've essentially nullified the top deck at a 2-for-1 cost. But I think as far as I had them in cards, it doesn't matter. So my card advantage is fake, as you'll see. Summon another Shifter. Loop a Sakitama again and apply a little more damage. Now they're getting low on life points. We'll have to draw a good engine here or they lose. He passes back over, and I summon another Exosister, and I enter the battle phase. Goes Druid Worm and banishes. This will trigger my Exosister to rank up, but without a Michaelis in the deck, I can't do that much. Summons the Druid Worm in attack mode, and again, I can't do anything. I can bounce this, which is terrible, or I can make Caspatel to search, or I can make Gibrine to negate. Either way, nothing I really do is going to be that effective. Besides, I do make Caspatel, that way I can just search more monsters for my deck. I better pressure with Martha, for example, being a 16 repeat stick is like, I guess, better than what I'm doing right now, which is like Sakitama beatdown with his measly like 400 attack points. So I add from deck to hand. I'm pretty sure I just grab Martha. If it clears my field, then it'll be all right. And then I use one of the cards I threw and that wasn't in my video, which is mental that it came up. But I link away all 5 monsters for Underworld Goddess. Now it does lose to Jewess Worm, but I actually just had no out to Jewess Worm. Otherwise, none of my monsters were big enough. So I lose the Goddess. Now he's top decking, I'm top decking. But Martha's live for next turn. So I have to hope on that. Hopefully not engine here or anything too crazy. I think at this point I had an Ash Blossom in hand actually, so like Bonfire would have been fine. But like another Kashtira card could have been pretty brutal. Martha comes down, opponent's own life, so this should kind of seal the deal. I get the Ellis out. But unfortunately I cannot go for game. So this is a 2-turn clock, not a 3-turn clock. Sorry, this is a 2-turn clock, not just insta kill. I do have to pass it back over to my opponent. Here they go, Sanctuary, grab Island. And I ash this just in case it is a fire card. Now this could be a bait where if they have like a good card in hand, I'm just screwed. Thankfully it's not, so I get to draw. And here it doesn't matter what they set. I can just go for the Sophiel, bounce the monster, and attack, and it should be enough to kill. Those games got way too close. Metaltronus was really, really good against me there. And you can really see in this game how the Michaelis grind can hurt you. Without Michaelis, this deck just completely falls apart. And that did happen there. But we'll pull it out 2-0 with Exosister. All right, so round number 3 up against Voiceless Voice, and I did win the roll here again, and I do Shifter again. You really see the power of Shifter here. Now this time, I don't think I actually knew if my opponent was playing Voiceless Voice. I had no idea if the Shifter would be effective. I summon the Sophia, get a draw, and this is still full combo. There's no hand traps. I get to a Cast Patel into Martha, and then into Magnifica, and do all that sort. You can see that I flash the camera. I do Prosperity off of Sophia, and it's pretty standard. It happens like every time. As you drew, can't use Prosperity. Well, obviously it can come up later in the game. Here I use Cast Patel effect, and I get ashed, so I'm like, okay, not going to be able to combo, but I have follow-up with the Cast Patel on field still if they can't play under Shifter. Can't play under Shifter, I'm probably F'd, but that's the way it goes sometimes. Roll someone low and I see, okay, I'm like probably good under Shifter. Like, the Shifter should suffice. Any plays they have are going to be incredibly neg, even if they want to go for like Skull Guardian, and I'm pretty sure I can push through their minimum. They grab Barrier into Skull Guardian, into the Ritual Spell, into Skull Guardian, which will get them a bit of plays, but this alone, because they have to tribute low on field, is not actually going to attack over Cast Patel. It's like an astonishingly low amount of pressure, and I kind of just sit there and I don't got to do anything. I'm just chilling. Add Blessing here, and Blessing will let them add back a card, which is pretty good. And won't let them Ritual on my turn if they have another Ritual monster, although I'm pretty sure they don't, otherwise they would have tributed that monster and kept the low up, keeping the Skull Guardian loop active immediately. And they set 1 and pass. So I draw, and I'm going to immediately Cast Patel again. Because I control an XYZ, I still can't use Martha. Martha doesn't work on XYZ's. It doesn't work if I control an Exosister, but it does if I control an XYZ. So they ash the Cast Patel, and I'm like, okay, I need something else. I have the Prosperity here, but again, with Prosperity, I could find something I need. It's not too much of a turn. There are many cards in my deck that will fix my position. This here, I reveal Martha's as well as everything else. I'm just Martha. Now, they do have a pop-up with the Radiance, so I have to be a little careful. And the Radiance can just add itself back. Or I can't add itself back. Blessing can add it back, so it's not like it's going to be that detrimental to the resources. But here inside, they decide special summon from the deck with the Radiance, or they add from hand. So what this means is now they can go Blessing Effect, Tribute Low, Special Summon, Skull Guardian, and then have them negate life that way. So, okay, we'll interrupt. I summon Martha out. If they want to summon on this point, then both my guys will trigger when they summon low. And they can negate one, can't negate both. And that is going to be a problem. So it's not actually like that good for them, and they'll force them to use the negate. I'll still get to the Michaelis combo, and the negate's gone. And here I get to do my rank up shenanigans and summon Michaelis and Jibreen, I think, or Sophiel. I don't think it matters. I think I had to be careful with what I banished for Prosperity. But interesting here is they held the negate, so to try and wall me out to protect their barrier, but I was prepared. Hit him with the Bluff back row, Dark Will No More, turn off the Skull Guardian. I can clean up these back rows with Michaelis and with Magnifica, as well as set up the returning for follow-ups that their cards in hand are not going to suffice to stop. Here I just clean up the field, and because damage doesn't matter, I don't need to make Magnifica first or anything. I'm just going to kill everything. In main phase 2, I get to search my trap, take Magnifica, and clear up the field. The barrier is the least important one because they want to play 3 of, so now if I have another low, it can get another barrier. It's important. And they use the effect, though, I will banish it, because now what that means is they can't use it again if they get the blowouts. And now they have no really way to search besides Saphira. 3 cards in hand. It's just so neg. Dear Servant is pretty good, however. It will let them pop, as well as get to Maximus, and then search some more ritual cards to give them a little bit more life in this game. They Entus hit the Vaudeo, which I would have used anyways, so that's kind of nice. It was free. Now if they summon the Maximus, I will special summon on top, and it'll turn on everything. To summon the Diviner, and it's okay, because I don't really want to consent that's that impactful. The low doesn't do anything, so Prius for low, we can't make Chaos Angel under Nadir, so it doesn't do much. So but they send Trius anyways, I guess for follow-up reasons, but it doesn't really impact me. And they banish for Maximus, and I get to rank up. They don't get to summon, and for the next deck's turn, so I'm really not concerned. You can summon everything else here. And I don't have any Gibrines left in the gate, so I just go that. Also, I'm not too concerned. At this point here, they unlock something from the grave, so this Trius is not going to matter. And then I detach her by mistake. This doesn't detach from Michaelis, but I get banish the Maximus, that's not going to be a problem. They Sarvis negate, return to banish it, and then left. Yeah. So against Voice's Voice, I'm siding in all my back removal. Bell's also good with cards like Saphira and pre-prep. So some of those hand chips go in, Ghost Ogre, Bell, Cosmic. Try and keep them off their continuous spells, and then you can win that way. Starting off with low, they will get access to something pretty easily. They start off with getting Barrier Search, and I don't have Ogres. True. You get access to Blessing, and then go into Amaraj. I think here they make a mistake. They make Secure Gardena, and he forgot to add back the low first, because we're going to ritual summon the Blessing there, and realized, oh wait, forgot to add it back. But it's okay for them, because this is still a good follow-up for them, as long as they can keep me off base for a little bit. I start with the Martha, which is pretty good. Special Elves from the deck. And then they attempt to ritual summon here, and I have the Cosmic, so I keep them off the Blessing. This is also important. The Blessing's gone, because that's their only way of really recycling the spell cards. Not being a problem for the rest of the game is nice. I go Michaelis here, and it gets Imperm, says Chain Banish the Barrier, because I want to have to follow up. Okay, this should be good. Now there's only low I have to deal with. And activate packs to keep on playing. Should be okay. You get access to Sophia. And haven't normal summoned yet, so I figure I may as well take the free draw here. Draw a card. And I get Dominus Purge. I'm like, ooh. And because there's a trap in his graveyard, it dies. So this is better than Imperm here. Now I actually cannot make Significa this position. I can only kind of just push a little bit, and then get into a grind game. I decided to summon Ellis because I figured that it deals some damage, and then if they do summon from the grave or do anything with the graveyard, I can rank up into another negate. Michaelis being very good, of course. They get Radiance from the deck. Radiance is a pretty good card because it'll give them follow up. They get Saphira. Kind of see it's getting kind of out of control here. Now Saphira Banish will trigger my ability to rank up, which may be a disastrous most decks, but at this point he won't need the graveyard that much longer, so the rank up is not going to help me deal with the Skull Guardian threat that I'm facing. And the whole point of my Ash and Cosmic and Ogres to try and keep them off this, because once it's there, unless I do have the one Dark Ruler or the 3 Dark Rulers I play, I cannot deal with this that easily. It's just a very tough setup to beat. Imperm on my Alice doesn't help, and this game is railed. It's effectively over, even if not right now. Here's at my field, and I just say, yeah, I'm not playing through this. Look at my hand. We're gonna scan. Game 3 starts, and I have to go normal Sapakatama, normal Summon Sophia. Obviously, not the best start, but if there's no hand traps, I will get away with this. Cast Patel effects, no Purge, no Imperm. Very happy to see that. Now I get to Martha, and this will complete the combo. I get Chained Magnum out of here. This is interesting. I probably wouldn't play this against Exosisters because, I mean, like, I don't know what it does. Yes, he uses it here, so I don't get the rank up effects, but Michaelis will just banish it for free. So again, I don't care. They would to search in the end phase for anything, so they can get Saphira, which I guess is kind of nice, but it's not that good. So I make Magnifica here, and then I set my back row and standard setup. Nothing crazy. This deck is not a deck that does that many different things. But Nibiru, though. I'm like, damn, that sucks. Nibiru is a huge problem for this deck. And now, the other problem here is even if I have Vaudeo to summon monsters on the opponent's turn, returning it does say you have to control all Exosisters. So with this Nib token, I just cannot do anything. I have to hope their hand also kind of just sucks. Saphira is activated, and I hit it with Psalm Strike, not wanting to get access to their engine. I figure I have to hit them as early as possible, because otherwise I am boned. I cannot enter a grind game versus this deck, and I have minimum disruption right now. Hard to ritual spell, so I kind of have to just sit there and deal with it. Trius gets dropped, summon the Skull Guardian, and I hit it with Effect Veiler. The Sarvis I lose. There's not, so I'm like, okay. bit of a chance. Beer attacks, Guardian attacks, and I'm like, okay, we are fine. One last card in their hand. We should be okay with follow-up. We have a Vaudeo face down. The Judicial Servant comes down. I'm like, all right, now this is a bit problematic. Entis here does thankfully hit the Vaudeo again, so I do get to keep my other card face down. Now, the issue with the Vaudeo here is if they pass, these do go back to my deck. So this is a bit complicated. So obviously, I'd rather he hits the card chainable and then I can use Vaudeo. Remember, Vaudeo returns the card to the deck in the end phase. So what happens here is I almost don't want it to get hit, so I get to keep it. However, if it doesn't get hit, and they summon Maximus, they can send another Entis to then blow up the Vaudeo anyways. No matter what, I am kind of like, damned if I do, damned if I don't. So at that point, I'd rather hit Vaudeo. That way they can't summon Maximus at least and draw an engine card, I win. But that requires me to draw engine. Now, I think they didn't realize here that they need that my cards are shuffled in the end phase. They go Maximus here. I'm going to send 2 garbage cards. But here the Entis that they have could pop the face down and clear me out. But instead, they just pop one of the Exosisters. Problem. They get a draw as well. So that does keep them a bit better in the grind game. Now this is looking kind of awkward for me. Like I'm not that well off. End phase, my Ellis gets shuffled back. And it's time for top deck. A draw and Exosister packs. We do it. So this is going to get me pretty far. Now, if you need any other level 4 monster to really make this full combo, you know, you can do the Martha stuff with Michaelis or Caspitel for just an extender, but obviously you can't do that here. Now, the problem with drawing packs versus Martha is Michaelis only spells a trap. So I can go Caspitel, add Martha, or I can go Michaelis, add something else. If I could go Michaelis, add packs, add Martha, normal Martha, then Michaelis banish from grave, I could go make the Caspitel surge, then Magnifica, and good to go. Not a thing I can do here, so just banish pass and call it a turn. Now I banished the wrong card here. For some reason, I cannot fathom why I thought this. I thought the Severe Ritual had to have a target a ritual in the grave, a ritual spell, and then copy its effects. So I banish his ritual spell, thinking that'll keep him off using Saphira as well. Does not work like that. If I had known that, I would have banished the Saphira. Straight up, that's what I would have done. But, oops, live and learn. Opponent starts the Diviner with a Trias on grave that is very concerning. Sending Arclight to the grave will let them search, so they will have a good foundation of ritual cards. And what I don't understand is they also have the Saphira engrave to ritual anytime they want. Activate the effect of Trias, Tributing Diviner, and I jump on the chance to use my Vaudeo. They will let me rank up twice into Michaela as a banish, as well as my other cards like Sophiel and Gibrine for negates, Caspitel as well. So I think I decided I want banish and negate here versus this deck. And the revive from grave is not too important. I figure that he's already low on engine, so I should try and hit as many things as possible. I get the special summon from deck here, the low. I can negate the low. Now to prevent a Chaos Angel from coming down, I can also banish here. Make sure that's not going to be a problem. I detached my mistake on the Michaelis. I don't know why. Again, not supposed to. Something I kept on doing is a bit of a bad habit. But I get rid of the low, so it can be Chaos Angels. And that way they also don't have any Skull Guardian stuff live. Active Banishment, and I had the Cosmic ready for that, so that's gone. All they have left is the Trias and Saphira. Like, wait, what? Not wise in me. No lows in grave, though, means it's not going to be big. It's on the Skull Guardian, and there's not really anything they can search that can up. They grab a Sarvis here, and it's not going to be buffed. So they just scoop it up in the end because they realize the onslaught that's coming in the next turn is now something they cannot deal with. So we end up 3-0 with Exosister. All right, so this round we have won the roll once again. Thankfully, we're up against our friend Assad. You've seen a couple other of my videos. He often goes to locals with me. So final round versus our friend. This is some Joey versus Yugi stuff. And of course, the Pharaoh, the Yugi, win King of Games. We start off with our standard rank 4 combo into the Caspitel, Magnifica, Search Returnia, and we're going to call it a day for now. Pax will get the Vaudeo, so both traps are live. Follow-up, Disruption, all things you want to do. Check. Set 2 other cards alongside it. I think one of these may have been Dark Ruler, at the very least the bluff, but I have some other stuff going for me as well. Also, it's Dark Beckoning Beast, and I think I decided to imperm this, hoping to just cut him off of Spirit Gates, which is a broken card. Chain Droplets is brutal here, because I will turn off my Magnifica as well as force through their ability to search Spirit Gates. Spirit Gates being one of the better extenders that it has. Yubel and Spirit Gates is also important. People often underplay this effect, by the way, but the normal summon off Beckoning Beast is huge extension for them. Now, being aware they could just summon Phantom here immediately, I use Vaudeo. That way, if they make Phantom using Beckoning Beast, I will special summon twice and mitigate that effect. Gates doesn't matter here because of the easy effect to revive. I will just tag out. Okay. Cool. Beckoning does revive here, and I'm like, sure, I get to double rank up now. And I get to go Michaelis anyways. Balls lock off something in the graveyard or get a negate. I decided to make Michaelis and Gibrine going for the negate, given that he has extra summon here, and then a banish as well. So I turn off the extra summon immediately, having an idea there could be a Samsara Lotus in hand, and I'm just going to chill. So now they have no normal summon left. They have no U-Bells in the grave, and they have very little setup, as well as they still have the banish and the Returnia face down, which can banish 2 cards. Count Steal is pretty important. It's important you summon your Exosisters in defense mode, because this way they can turn them to attack and then make Zeus. Now in this game state it doesn't matter because it's still Magnifica, but in other game states it does. So it's a good habit to try some of them in defense, play around talents into Zeus. Now I do have Cosmic Cyclone in my main deck. This wasn't in my original deck profile, however. I couldn't find all the I couldn't find the second Returnia. So I put a Cosmic in my main to replace it. Not a good replacement, but it was kind of just like last minute. I saw it here, should have used the Chaos effect because it was summoned this turn to banish my Returnia, which would have had the chain to banish his field, and then any other effects he has would have resolved uninterrupted, and he forgets, and then I get to banish both cards he has. He is now cooked, I'm pretty sure. No normal summon, no extension pieces. So, one mistake costs him the game. Alright, so game 2 versus Yubel, I do very much expect to be going second. I can try to draw Shifty out of this, but it is going to be hard. I do not, so we will have to get there the hard way. I did side on pretty much every hand chip I had in hopes of flooding them down, but this is one of the worst matchups for Exosisters. You have very few ways of interacting with the Phantom very well, and it's just a lot of resources coming at you that's kind of hard to deal with. I pretty much summon hoping there's nothing that's left. He makes Phantom, and I'm like, okay, we're chilling. That's all, then we are okay. Discards Engraver. I'm like, okay, never mind, maybe it's not so simple. But thankfully, I have a second Imperm, so I get to do the Engraver stuff. Combo through Necroquip and then into Sequence. The second Imperm does stop him from progressing any further, and thankfully I'm okay here. Now it's not that simple because dealing with this Phantom is a problem. It doesn't really interact with the grave that much. I start with the packs to get my engine going, and I get Martha. I use Martha and it gets negated obviously, and then when he sends Spirit I'm going to Ghost Spell it. And I Ghost Spell it because now there's only one U-Bell card in grave. You can't just make Phantom straight away. Try to cut off the chain, and then I can normal summon attack. And then the Martha will rank up when he summons Engraver. So I do have a game plan already set here. Starts out with normal summon Beckoning Beast, which is scary because, you know, they can revive the Spirit U-Bell, which will like end the game immediately. So I'm going to want to stop that. They add a second Beckoning Beast here, as well as it also means they have a link to play beforehand. Summons Engraver here, shuffling back the Sequence, which is also going to be a push on its own. I Ghost Spell it because then I can still rank up with the Martha, and then I hit with Droplet, and I'm like, wait. I'm just dead. Discard, revive, Spirit Gates. I Ghost Ogre it, keep it off. All I have left is this Martha, but at the very, very least, Phantom can come down, and then there's a still Engraver for next turn, and it's just too much. So I'm still struggling. Makes the Phantom again, sets 2, calls it a turn. Draw. The best thing I can draw here is level 4, so I can make Michaelis, banish the Phantom, force its effect, then search packs and go play that way. I don't have it, so I have to just pass. And now the Engraver can come out once again. This time returning Requiem. And effect Veil of Phantom so he can't negate the rank up effect with Martha. I try to rank up again, hit another Droplet, and I'm like, nope, I know where this goes. We'll concede. So game 3, I do get to go first. And I get hit with the Charmy immediately, but this time I do need to play, and I can play. So I will do that. I do not have the luxury of backing myself with Shifter to go ham. And Saw told me later he forgot he had a second Brolia in hand and just didn't activate it here, funnily. So they should have used it on the Martha here. He should have used it on the Martha here. Give himself an extra draw. It would have been guaranteed. Almost Sophia, draw. And here, because the card is in his grave, I can play around the Chummy a little bit. I just go into Michaelis to search off it. If he chains Velo, then I chain Banish. Get the Vaudeo, and then I get to banish that, rank up into Caspatel. Caspatel give me follow-up, and then I get to go Magnifica. So I still have my full setup, as well as I have follow-up. So arguably, like, they drew an extra card, but my field is a bit better than it would have been. And the Sophia definitely helped as well. I make my Michaelis, set some cards, and call it a turn. He normal summons Dark Beckoning Beast. I think, okay, what do I want to do to approach this? I know Droplets in his deck. I don't want to play into it if I can, so wasting an Imperm on this is not ideal. I want to try Banish this if anything, and ranking up. That way I can lock out his graveyard with Caspitel, and then keep him out of the extra normal summon, keep his graveyard empty, and it won't be as bad. Like, I'm not going to lose as many cards. So I use the effect to rank up, and then I use the effect to banish. He chains Droplets, and I'm like, okay. This is still the same kind of result that would have happened in game 1, but I keep the Imperm, which is huge, for obvious reasons on stuff later down the line. So Talent's look in my hand, hit my only hand trap, hits the Veiler. I'm like, all right, neat. I may not have hit Imperm. I know I had something, but it may have been that Veiler. I lose it, and I'm like, okay, still have the follow-up, so it's all right. I still have 3 cards face down that act as Disruption. Now I went first. There's no chance I have a Dark Willow's in my deck going first. Spirit Gates gets to search, and if I use the effect, I will get to rank up. Activates the Nightmare Throne, hoping this can connect. And I decide it's too powerful, so what I do is I go returning to banish. But then what I also do is chain Vadis. What this let me do is pay 800 special 2 from the deck, and then the returning will let me XYZ summon on resolution. So I do this to summon Caspitel to lock him out of summoning from the grave. This means he can't use the effect of Spirit Gates to revive, and thusly hopefully keep him off of any sort of follow-up or extension at sorts. And then also have plenty of follow-up here. Now, obviously, if I could chain Vadis to the effect of like Spirit Gates, that would also do a similar thing and rank up. But I wanted to get out of the way now. Because more important than myself getting extra bodies is that I keep him off of bodies. Because more important he stays at bay than I stay at bay. I have enough. I have enough as is. I don't need to be greedy. He adds Spirit to hand, which can help protect them. Then he just fuses the 2 for Phantom. Passes, hoping to stay alive. But I have him now in my grasp. I am permit, it's turned off. And I have the Magnifica set up as well to banish. I have the Caspitel to search. There's no escape here. I have Martha in hand. It's over. I use the Magnifica to banish the face down. See the last card. The Soulfuel bounces the Phantom. It's on a bunch of bodies. Now we win. That does mean we ended up 4-0 with our $20 Exosister strategy. Now, if you guys are interested in seeing the deck list, it was a little bit different as I had to adjust for not having every card here. But go check out the last video, the budget series here. Now, this is not the first video I made. If you want to see other decks from this series, we have talked about Marincess and Pearly already. Both decks are still viable candidates, I think, in this metagame, as well as still pretty cheap. Marincess maybe having gone up a bit and not being reprinted at all since the video being posted. By the way, guys, I hope this enables the players who didn't want to spend a ton of money to still play Yu-Gi-Oh! At a competitive level. Still go to locals, win some prizes, some credits, some cool stuff, and not feel like they are acting in a way that is financially silly. So guys, let me know down below what types of budget decks you want to see in the future. Some more combo stuff, some control stuff, more mid-range, any type of the sorts, and I will catch you all then.